Hi, can I ask you something? Is there anything as nasty as a good old family feud? And I'm talking about one of those real drag-out fights. You know, brother versus brother, father versus son, mother versus daughter, where they're not talking about it to each other. The accusations are flying all over the place. A family gathering is a war zone. I mean, one of those really good drag-out, down and dirty family feuds. Is anything as nasty as that? I mean, you get into a fight with a stranger, a coworker, all right, you know, it lasts. Maybe reconciliation happens. But you know what? It doesn't get as dirty and as nasty as a good old family feud. Well, I have two good pieces of news for you. Number one, if you're involved in one of these family feuds, fret not. You're one of the millions of American families that do it every single day. So don't think you're alone, isolated in some corner of this great land of ours. Everybody does it and everybody loves it. It's part of our nature. And number two, if you're Jewish, another good piece of news. It's traditional. Or as our good friend Tevye would say, it's tradition. Take the first family of Judaism. We have our patriarch Isaac and his wife Rebecca. For 20 years they pray and pray and pray to have a child, and guess what? God blesses them. And they have not only one, but two. Jacob and Esau. We talked about them. Now these two brothers, you would think, you know, there's only like, what, 4 Jews in the world? 5 Jews in the world? Tops 7 Jews in the world? That we kind of try to get along. Well, as the way God would want it, Isaac has 1 blessing and 2 sons. And both of them want that blessing. Isaac wants to give the blessing to Esau, but Jacob gets the blessing. Now, that recipe is not good and doesn't do well for family unity. When you want to give one son something and the other son ends up with that, chances are there's going to be a little bit of bad blood between them. But Esau is not only angry, he is furious. And he says, oh, I'm going to wait till the old man dies. And when the old man dies, my brother is cooked. I mean, I'm talking about finished, finito, dead, gone. Well, Jacob knows this and doesn't want to take him on in a brawl because Esau's really strong and tough. And Jacob is a mama's boy, you know, sitting and studying. Probably had, you know, glasses and all of those things, scrawny, you know, like not the tough guy. So he's smart. And so what does he do? He takes off. He takes off into the comfortable arms of his beloved uncle Laban. Now, Laban we have met before because he's the brother of Jacob's mother, who when Jacob's father proposed to his mother, sent Eliezer. Remember that story? And he came with all kinds of riches. So when Jacob shows up to Laban's house, Laban thinks, oh, oh, baby, we're in good luck today because Jacob is bringing all of his father's fortune. Well, unfortunately, Jacob came empty-handed. But don't worry, don't worry. Laban's a great uncle, and he takes him into his house. Now, Jacob, in a sidebar, falls in love with Laban's younger daughter, Rachel. And he says to the father, Laban, his uncle, yeah, I'd like to marry my cousin Rachel. She's beautiful and I've fallen in love with her. Well, of course, Laban says, absolutely. Why should I give her off to a stranger? You're my blood and flesh and bones. And that already are code words for, I'm going to mess you up, brother. All right? So he says, I'm going to, you know, sure, of course, you know what? Yeah, I love you. You're my greatest favorite nephew. And all I need you to do is just work 7 years for her. Well, 7 years he works for her, and he finally says, hey, my time is up. I've worked 7 years. How about giving me Rachel in matrimony? So Laban says, great, tonight we'll throw a big party. And what he does, of course, is he substitutes Leah, his oldest daughter, for Rachel. So when Jacob wakes up in the morning and looks at who's sleeping next to him, it's Leah. Now, what's the problem? The problem is he proposed to Rachel, and he got Leah. So he's not a happy camper. So he goes to his uncle and says, hey, what's going on? So Laban says, well, you know what? This doesn't fit well here in our community, giving the younger daughter before the older daughter. But hey, you're still my favorite nephew. So why don't you work another 6 years and I'll give you Rachel. So that's what he does. So he marries Leah and Rachel. But he's still very angry at Laban for doing this to him. He deceived him. So another family feud embroils here. And after 20 years of working for his father-in-law, marrying his 2 daughters, and having a multiple of children, Jacob decides it's time to go home. But it's not so easy. So they have another little mesh going on over here. He wants to leave, he can't leave, he runs away, he gets chased, and Laban catches up to him. All of these things happen, and again, we are witness to a wonderful family feud. So you may think to yourself, man, is this what it's all about? I mean, one feud after another feud after another feud. No. Make no mistake. At the end of it all, there is hope and tranquility. At the end of it all, there is reconciliation. Everybody gets together. Everybody's going to love each other. Everybody's going to shake hands and make good. But my friends, that's a story for another time. And you're going to have to come back next week to hear where the rest of the story goes. Until then, have a wonderful week and take care of yourself. Goodbye.